Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me again. This is Dr. Stephen Walker coming at you live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. This is my twice a week mental health live stream where we talk about all things related to real mental health, not what you see on social media, which is just about being your best self and letting go of the negative and all that good stuff. So before we get started here, tonight's topic is how to discover why you are the way you are. Okay, we're going to touch briefly on why that's important, why we should be looking at who we are and getting into those topics. But before I get started, I want to remind everybody, helpahuman.org. Okay, it's a fund I've set up. I talk about it every time I go live because it's a way that you can donate directly into a fund that helps people who can't afford mental health treatment. People have lost their jobs, people have lost their health insurance, people can't afford it. 100% of the donations go directly towards helping somebody who can't afford treatment. And I would love to give my services away. I'm sure everyone watching this would love to work for free, but the reality of a capitalistic economic-based society is that ain't gonna happen. So helpahuman.org, okay? If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and put your notifications on so you know when I go live. Very important, okay? Because that way you'll know when we're live, they'll put our videos up higher, people will work on their issues, and a society of people who are working on themselves rather than pointing the finger at everyone around them as to that's why they are the way they are. If you're catching this again on Facebook, please subscribe and like the page. You get some notifications when I post new things. Same thing, there's tons of content going back many, many years. Again, I'm a licensed psychologist. I've been doing this for close to 25 years. So I'm basically just downloading a lot of information that I've culled over the years that I've found can help people suffer less psychologically and emotionally. So let's get into, hey, Ghost Life, how are you, Sam? Thanks for joining as usual. So let me just remind everybody that my theory on mental illness is that everyone has a degree of mental illness. Everyone has a degree of physical illness. Not nobody, but the majority of people aren't embracing the fact, yeah, I've got this mental illness. I've got this degree of mental illness. I need to work on it, because we live in a society where people don't like to admit that they're weak, admit that they have issues, because that makes them crazy, or that makes them feel as though they're the only ones on the planet, excuse me, with any kind of an issue. So remember, I start with a topic. Hate to talk about this every time. Hey, Bracy, how are you? I start with a topic, but this is a live mental health stream. So basically, you need to engage with me. You need to ask me questions. You can ask me anything you want. It doesn't have to be pertaining to the topic. I usually do the topic as a way of getting, the ball rolling and people to just get comfortable with the idea of talking about what's on their mind, because most people, and I wish it wasn't most people, I wish we lived in a society where people were actively working on themselves and their, what's going on with them, because we'd have a totally different society. So that segues perfectly into how to discover why you are the way you are. Okay, so let's talk about that. Why you are the way you are? Why are you the way you are? Why do you think and feel the way you do? Why do you have your belief systems? Why do you believe what you believe? Why are you sad? Why are you depressed? These are the fundamental questions that I don't feel that people are asking enough of. Mike, hey Mike, how are you? Sigrid, how's it going? How do you start doing that? Great question, Mike. That's what I'm going to talk about here, my brother. How do you start doing that? You start doing that by admitting and accepting that you got issues, that you got something going on with you that isn't being worked on. Let's say you've had multiple failed relationships, or you're alone a lot, or you don't have the type of job you have. You don't have, you just feel this feeling of unfulfilled potential, or you feel that you just don't feel right. I was working with a client today who was telling me that the person was telling me that they just don't know what happiness is. They don't know what it feels like to be happy. Absolutely, Bracy. It's how we were raised. Exactly. But see, the problem is, Bracy, and I'm gonna, remember, I talk and then I add and I interact, or we just go with the flow. But the whole idea of these mental health live streams is to engage with people about what's going on in their mind. But the problem, Bracy, about your statement, it's how we were raised, which is absolutely true. Nobody likes to admit that their childhood is still killing them, is still affecting them, is still hurting them, is still bothering them. Nobody likes to admit that. Not nobody, I shouldn't say nobody. Many people don't like to admit that what they went through as a child is still affecting them, because what's the main message you hear all over social media? You probably hear it from your friends and family. That's still bothering you? You haven't gotten over that? That's still affecting you? Again, I was working with a client patient today who went through a pretty significant amount of sexual abuse. She's actually been on the live stream a few times, and we were talking about the fact that the people who caused her the pain keep saying, "You're still being bothered by that." I mean, it's ridiculous. Everyone's childhood is still affecting them. Everyone. Okay, now great. Please keep the questions and comments coming. I'm going to try to get to all of them. But the problem, when you want to embark on a process of discovering why you are the way you are, it starts with asking yourself that question: why am I the way I am? Why do I believe what I believe? Now, people would say, well, why ask why? Why ask why? Just be in the moment. Why ask why? I love that. Why ask why? I don't know. Like I've said before, why don't we say that to a cancer researcher? Why do you ask why the cancer was formed or how the cancer was formed? Why do you want to find out why? Well, maybe because that's the way we're going to end up curing cancer. Okay, maybe that's the way we end up finding out as a society why we can't get along, why we have to kill our enemy, why it can't be a situation where people disagree, but they find some common ground. And what you'll find when you start asking yourself why you are the way you are, as I believe, was it Bracy? Yeah, Bracy said, is because it goes back to unprocessed, unhealed emotional wounds from your past, beliefs that you learned that people are not questioning. I mean, stop and think about what we are as a society. The fact that we still kill each other, okay? Just, I mean, is it only me, or do other people feel that we should be beyond some of these things? We should be beyond this idea that that we're not connected, that we're not all part of something whole. We're so fragmented because people aren't asking themselves basic questions, and these are more existential questions of why they are the way they are. And the main reason I found in my 20 plus years of doing this is it causes insecurity. It causes a period of insecurity where you all of a sudden start asking yourself, oh, by the way, please share this if you're watching this so we can pull more people in. If you're catching this after I post it, please share this. Everyone has a degree of mental illness. Let's work on it. There's nothing wrong with that, because it causes a period of insecurity where people don't really know who they are. And that's a disconcerting feeling, because all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute. If I'm not, I mean, I use this example a lot with racism. I'm sorry, anyone out there watching this or who catches this after I post it, you are not born a racist. You are not born a hater of other people. Okay, you were not born a person who hates themselves, who thinks they're not worthy of love, who feels that all relationships are going to end in pain. Okay, you were not born like that. But let's take the racist who all of a sudden is convinced that they're not a racist, that they're not who they think they are. That's a very disconcerting feeling for that person, because all of a sudden that person's going to start thinking, well, wait a minute, if I'm not who I think I am, then who am I? And that's the question that a lot of people feel, and they go back running to those comforting thoughts and feelings within them, because it causes I'm sorry you can't hear, baby. You're gonna have to turn it up just a little. Sorry, my 5-year-old's while looking at something on his iPad, which he gets very sparingly, by the way. But because people don't like to go through that period of time of when they're feeling insecure. They think it's going to last forever. They think that those voids that they start being aware of in their mind are gonna last forever, and they're never going to get over that. Again, getting lots of great comments and questions. I'm going to get to them. Please keep them coming. Tonight's topic, if you're just joining me, is on how to discover why you are the way you are. The first step in discovering that is asking yourself these fundamental questions, these belief challenging questions, like, why am I so depressed? Why am I so detached from people? Why don't I cry? Why don't I care about people? You guys have heard me rant about this book that was written, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. The most ridiculous book ever written on the face. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that, because, you know, the person who wrote it's not a mental health person. He's not a psychologist. He's stealing psychological concepts either he found online or in research, and he's put it together into this book where he's telling people how to not care or not to give an F. And I know the theme of the book is how to care and all that, but the problem is that's the worst way to give to title a book, because it makes people believe that not caring is healthy. Okay, so what I'm trying to say to you is, if you do realize, wow, I really don't give an F, I really don't care, I don't care about myself, I don't care about living, I don't care about other people, those are questions you need to get into, people, because that's an infection within you that's not being treated. To discover why you are the way you are, you have to spend some time challenging your belief system. Let's go back to the racist. The racist who is tired of hating, is tired of getting into fights or arguments about, is just looks at themselves, you know, as they get older, like, really? I'm just going to hate people because they're black, white, Asian, all this Asian hatred out there, all this hating Asian people because somebody fanned the flames with Kung flu and China virus and all of that, and people aren't stopping and asking yourself, so let me get this straight. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that this coronavirus or whatever was released by a lab or whatever. You're going to hate a whole race of people for that? Seriously? And these are the fundamental questions that people aren't getting into. You know, I see this online a lot with YouTubers and people who have these immense followings spouting off this polarized system of thought, where the whole idea is that their way is the only way and everyone else's way is the wrong way. I mean, people, bipolar disorder and mental illness is an extremely debilitating disorder. Schizophrenia, these polarized ways of thinking are incredibly unhealthy. They cause immense amounts of pain and anguish, and people end up hurting themselves. And people are ingesting these one-sided ways of looking at the world around us. It's staggering. So the second way of discovering, remember, the first way is starting to ask yourself fundamental questions of why you are the way you are. The second way of discovering why you are the way you are is to start thinking about how you learned what you learned, how you learned what is going on, how you learned how you interpret the world, how you make sense out of the world. Those are some of the main ways. The benefits are we would have a societal shift if people were spending some time. Yeah, you know, I am still affected by the way I was raised. Like Bracy said, I am still bothered by things that happened to me as a kid. You know what? That's okay. You know why? Because it's not my fault. It's not my fault I was abused. It's not my fault I was left alone. It's not my fault. I'm sorry. It's not. It's fundamentally up to an adult to manage how they react to children. I've got a 5-year-old. Do I manage my reactions perfectly every time? No. But do I go back and repair whatever damage I may have done? Absolutely. And adults need to take responsibility for how they're reacting to children. It is not the child's fault. Okay. It's not. Now, yes, there are extreme cases of children with explosive disorder and oppositional defiance. I get that, but it's still incumbent upon people to manage how they're reacting to each other. Discovering why you are the way you are is the first beginning to discover why you are the way you are. Fundamentally alters your ability to only maintain one side of the coin, meaning one opinion. The idea of balance. Think of a scale. Remember the old time scales, not the digital scales now, but the old time scales where you need a equal sides create balance. Equal sides create balance. We need to allow ourselves to entertain opposing points of view within our mind. You don't have to admit it, but opposing views in your mind. You will find more balance when you allow the opposite of what you believe to coexist within your mind, because then you're going to be able to say, oh, I understand I may not agree with it. But see, this is the fear, is people do not like to entertain opposite sides, opposite points of view, because they feel it's going to cause them to be insecure for the rest of their life. And it doesn't happen that way. Just that point alone. Why am I so insecure? Why do I need approval so much? Why do I hate myself so much? These are the whys we need to ask. Okay. So let me get to some of these comments before if people log off. So thank you for posting your Mike. I hope that answered your question. How do you start doing that, Mike? I don't know if you're still on, but Mike, let me ask you something. If you're still here, what is something that you need to work on, brother? What is something that you see permeates your relationships or causes you that internal conflict, that feeling of agitation, or that feeling of being uncomfortable in your skin, or that feeling that, you're not who you want to be in the sense. What's going on with you, Mike? Let's see. That ghost life is saying, yes, question mark. Mike just asked. Yes, yes, question mark. I don't know what that means, bro. So if you want to fill me in on what that means, I'll try to answer it. Ghost is saying, I need some help to get over a heartbreak. So Ghost, if you need help getting over a heartbreak, brother, Mike is saying, I wonder what he's saying about. Mike, what are you saying about? Are you thinking? Share it, Mike. Remember, this is a mental health live stream. We need to talk about our mental health, okay? We all have a degree of mental illness, everybody. Ghost, what I would ask you, brother, about your heartbreak is, what's going on there? Why do you feel heartbroken still? Was it, you blame yourself for things? Are there things about what happened with the heartache or the heartbreak that you're wishing you could have changed? Are there things that she did or he did that hurt you? You've got to get into those questions about why am I feeling what I'm feeling? Is Ghost hating themselves for feeling what they're feeling? Mike is saying, I think that I look back at 60 years and ellipse. I just feel like I have failed at everything. There you go. There you go, Mike. And my brother, that's not a good feeling. To look back on 60 years and feel like you failed at everything is not a good feeling. And right there, if I was working with you, brother, we would definitely start picking apart the everything, because that's a very black or white. People say black and white for black or white. Black and white is a very healthy way of looking at the world, because you're allowing black and white to exist. Black or white, that's the polarization. Nope, it's either I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. That's it. So, Mike, what I would ask you is this, brother: you really failed at everything? When you say, I feel like I have failed at everything, you've got to bring some nuance to that. It seems like some things have happened in your past that haven't gone the way you wanted them to go. Now, I don't know if that's career-wise, Mike. I don't know if that's personal. I don't know if it's a combination of all of that. But, I was originally going to do tonight's live stream, and I changed it a few minutes before. I was going to talk about how to be less pessimistic, because pessimism Pessimism is a hugely learned belief, okay? Hugely learned belief. The idea that I'm not being pessimistic, bro, I'm being realistic. No. Why is pessimism realism? Why isn't optimism realism? Mike, you got to bring a little nuance to how you're looking back on your 60 years, brother. You've got to look at it in terms of, okay, what have I actually failed at? Like failure, like failed, all like it's failed. Or what have I just not achieved the level that I want to be at? That's what I'm feeling that is going on, is that there's something going on in Mike that there's a couple of things that haven't gone the way he's wanted them to go, that has caused him to look at his whole life as a failure. He says, got it, combo. Yeah, 3 failed marriages, no children, etc. Gotcha. Yeah, that's a tough one, brother. That's a tough one. I don't know. Bracey's saying I've been a pessimist since I was in the womb. No, sister. No, Bracey, your pessimistic beliefs, your learned beliefs about pessimism are making you believe you're a pessimistic baby. Hell no, Bracey. Let me show you real quick what I mean. I'm gonna get back to you, Mike. Let me show you what I mean, Bracey. Okay, Bracey. Okay, just ask yourself this question: how pessimistic were people around me? Just ask yourself that question. And then tell me if you were a pessimist from the womb. Mike is saying career choice that I absolutely hated and got stuck in. Yeah, I feel you, brother. I feel you. Mike, you know what I would honestly recommend, brother? I don't know if you've ever done any of this work with people. I'm not, this isn't an infomercial for Dr. Stephen Walker. Far from it. This is an infomercial if you really want to know about the importance and the value of talking things out with somebody. You might want to think about talking to somebody about some of this sadness and disappointment that you're carrying around with you, brother, and venting some of that and processing some of that, because Mike, maybe there were some good reasons why the marriages failed that weren't your fault. Maybe there were some reasons why you stayed in a career that you say that you got stuck in. Maybe there were some things that happened to you in your past when you were growing up that caused you to not believe you could have a career. Maybe you had a conditioned belief system that prevented you from feeling you could be successful in another career. Okay, so give me some. Okay, yeah, Mike. Let me know what your thoughts about that. Let me go back up here and get to some more questions. Bracey, let me see here. Wow, great questions today. Life's a journey, let it go. I've isolated for 20 years. I go in the public, but I don't have any friends. I prefer to be alone. Is that the last one? Hope everyone is doing good. Yes, it does. Hello. Okay, life's a journey. Let it go. Life's a journey, but letting it go is not really from my vantage point, because if I were to say to you, well, let it go. You don't have any friends, let it go. Don't let that bother you. Why, you prefer to be alone. Maybe preferring to be alone has been an adaptation from your isolation. But what I would say to you, life's a journey. If you truly are, the kind of person who enjoys being alone, or is that a byproduct of being alone a lot as a child, and maybe you had unstable relationships as a kid and you learned that relationships they can't count on them. Okay. Bracey's saying when multiple people yell and tell you that you're worthless from an early age and are abused, it's just there. Exactly, Bracey. It's there until you work on it, sister. It's there unless, and even if you don't dwell on it, you need to therapeutically dwell on it a little bit, Bracey, to heal some of that. That's exactly what I meant when I asked you before, when you said about you were a pessimist in the womb. You were not. You were not. You were not. This is why you're a pessimist, because of all the crap that was leveled upon you growing up. Okay. Yes, it is a learned behavior. Pessimism is a learned behavior, but this is why discovering why you are the way you are starts freeing you up from that. I mean, you guys, if you've done the work I have with people for as long as I have, you'll understand why I'm a firm believer on this process of talking things out. I had a session today with somebody who, as he put it, he feels unencumbered. What did this person say? Let me see here. He feels unbounded. He's feeling unbounded by a lot of this stuff that has bound him for years. And he's doing the work. He's working on it. So Bracy, I would seriously tell you, your belief. Remember, I did a live stream a few nights ago about imposter syndrome. The fact that the imposter is the conditioning. Conditioning is the imposter that masquerades as the true self. That's what imposter syndrome is. All this other social media nonsense about imposter syndrome, it's just so comical that people post these things and really, I don't know. I don't want to say it, but I will. Have no clue what they're talking about because they've never worked in the field and worked in the mental health field. And they take these concepts and they take them in isolation and think imposter syndrome is feeling like a fake, feeling like a phony. Well, sure, that's part of it, but that's not what imposter syndrome is, okay? Bracy, you need to work on some of that pain, okay? You need to work on some of that, okay? Sigrid is saying, oh no, it is because happiness is being measured by what others believe happiness is. Exactly. We have to find what makes us happy internally. Stop trying to be what others are or have. Absolutely. My happy is different than your happy place. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the problem, Sigrid, is a lot of people don't even believe they can be happy. A lot of people have been so hurt that they believe that the pain they feel will never go away, And that's part of the discovery process. Where did I learn that? Where did I learn to be so pessimistic? Where did I learn to believe that emotional wounds can't heal? You know, I hear that all the time. Well, people can't change. People don't change, dude. I had this debate with somebody the other day who a lot of classical psychologists believe, oh, personality disorders are static and they never can change. Really? Really? That's just a blanket statement. That's been researched. There've been different No, I don't believe that. Can you change your personality like flipping a light switch into something else? No. But can the dysfunctional elements that fuel negative personality characteristics be mitigated with the proper treatment? Yes. Okay. Mike is saying, I have had lots of counseling and it's time for more. You're correct on those points you make. I'm going to see to that tomorrow, literally. Beautiful, brother. Beautiful, Mike. There's absolutely no reason why you need to think that for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, however long you live, bro, that you have to live in this pain and all these regrets. You do not. You learn somewhere along the way, bro, to beat yourself up or put yourself down or think that life is never going to get better or whatever it is. Please share this broadcast if you're watching it live. Please, we need to bring in some more people. You don't need to suffer for the next 10, 20, 30 years, brother. You can start working on it and talking it out and find some alleviation to that cloud of negativity that you're feeling. And yes, Mike, if you made some mistakes along the way, never too late to do what I call the Edison mentality. Okay, the Edison mentality is how to learn from those mistakes, how to let those mistakes be your guide for future growth. Okay, look up Mike, tonight, brother, look up post-traumatic growth. And sure, everyone's heard of post-traumatic stress disorder. Look up post-traumatic growth, brother. I'm sorry, I call everyone brother and sister, okay? So it's just the way I am. But anyway, look up post-traumatic growth. You'll see that people can grow from their pain. People can grow from their trauma, okay? You can absolutely, part of this process is being able to be self-aware. I don't know if you guys caught the live stream I did on Brief. It's Bree. Okay, that's a good question. I didn't see this. I'm going to get to this right now. But I did this live stream on mindfulness. Okay, remember there's two forms of, not two, but there are two main forms of mindfulness. One is mindful, and I should do that. I should do one show, one live stream on meditation, because meditation, I've been using meditation in my practice for 20 years now. But anyway, one form of mindfulness is you close your eyes, you become aware of your breathing, you become aware of the sounds around you. All very good stuff. All very good stuff. Metacognition is another form of mindfulness, thinking about your thinking, being aware of your thoughts and emotions. I think one of the most powerful forms of mindfulness. When people can begin thinking about their thinking, that's when things begin to change. That's when our society, that's when people will start saying, well, wait a minute, why am I hating this liberal, calling them libtard? I mean, what's that going to do? And why do I like that hate? Why do I like feeling superior? Why am I calling this Trump fan or this conservative or whatever? Why am I hating this? When people start questioning why they're hating somebody else because they have a different belief system, then we're going to be heading in a different direction. But the problem is, people are not asking themselves why they are the way they are. They're going on TV or on their live stream podcasts, whatever, and they're literally just vomiting out their one-sided view of the world without allowing themselves to their inner world to check themselves. Like, whoa, wait a minute, really? Why am I like this? Is this okay with me? Does that mean that there's no other contradictory point of view that I can allow to bring balance into my world? Okay. But let me get to Bree. I feel like not only do they get scared about not knowing who they are after realizing things are different, they realize that their loved ones are also racist or sexist too. Yeah, Bree. I know that in my own family. I feel you. That's the hard one. I think one of the reasons we're so polarized politically is because it's not just politics. It's not just I'm a Democrat, you're a Republican. It's a lot of, not going to point fingers, but there are elements within certain parties that genuinely believe in, I'm not saying all, but there are elements within certain political parties that really believe in racist and sexist and xenophobic and homophobic views that subjugate other people and create other people into minorities based on this and make you feel superior, that, the Constitution or the Bible. And I'm sorry, I tend to, Bree, to be honest with you, be more on your side of the fence on this one. That no, if you're hating somebody because they're black, white, brown, pink, yellow, purple, whatever it is, and you're not questioning that, and you think you're part of the solution, you ain't part of the solution. You're part of the problem. Okay, so yeah, Bree, that's a very good point. Very good point. Okay, Mike, take it easy, brother. Thanks for logging on. I appreciate it. Let me know if I can help with anything. Look up Psychology Today Therapist Finder if you need some resources there. All right, bro? Let me know how it's going. Hey, Angie, how are you? Angie's saying, actually, let me get to Sigrid first because she posted before you. I was in that place as well. I had to work hard to get out of it. I realized the clock is ticking, absolutely, and I was wasting precious time in my misery. Way to go, Sigrid. Way to go. Keep doing the work, sister. Keep allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling and working on it. Okay, beautiful. Angie's saying, I have a hard time seeing how much hurt there is, how much damage has been done, how many lives have been so changed and hearts so hurt because of selfish, unkind, hurtful people. And it goes on and on and on. I'm hurting people. Yes, hurting people hurt people. Absolutely. And no one will step up and accept their part. Yes, it drains me. It hurts me. It is bad that I feel so much of this for so many. Well, Angie, I hear you, and one of the things I had to learn, sorry, my ear is itching. One of the things I had to learn early on in this field is how to manage my empathy. Okay, manage my ability to feel for other people. Okay. So it sounds like you may need to go through a process of managing how much you're feeling the negativity, feeling the hurt, feeling the pessimism about the people around you. What I can say to people who are interested is, after, like I said, close to 25 years, first as a teacher and then working and then into mental health, I'm an optimist. I believe anybody who wants to change, anybody who wants to do the work, can work on themselves, can make changes. I firmly believe that, and I do believe that there's a majority of good people on the planet. I do. I believe that the majority of people don't want to be bothered, don't want to be hurt, don't want to be killed, don't want to be insulted. The majority of people will just want to live in peace, and there's studies that have built back that up. There have been studies that have shown that, given a choice, people will opt to cooperate rather than go at each other. So, Angie, what I would say to you is this, okay? We need to work on seeing the hurt in us and working on that. Okay, you're taking on too much of the world's hurt, too much of the negativity around you, and thinking that, oh God, what's the point? And Angie, we both know where that comes from. We both know where you learn to take on everyone else's problems as your own, where being put in a position of solver, healer, that you have to make things right. I would encourage you to keep focused on, again, remember the topic for tonight is why you are the way you are. Turn that off. Turn that off. We're not watching things about buying stuff.
Okay, I'll just watch them because I don't want to buy.
Yeah, we don't just buy. That you were put in a position where it was very negative as a kid. You were put in a position where everybody was telling you, oh, it's all your fault. This is because of you. This is what's shaping your view of the world. You have to work on, why am I like, why do I look at things like that? Why do I look at how much damage has been done? Why is that my focal point? Why is that? Why am I focusing on that rather than what damage has been done to me that I need to work on? What do I need to heal within myself that hasn't been healed? This is what I would encourage you to keep looking at. Is it bad that I feel so much of this for so many? I don't know if it's bad, but it's not productive. It's not healthy. It's not going to help you heal by being the sponge. There are many different models for empathy. That the sponge is the most difficult, that you have to hold everything in. You have to take everything in and hold it. Okay. I couldn't do this work if I was the sponge. Now, can you be the sponge and learn how to let it flow out of you? Absolutely, but that takes work. But Angie, I would just encourage you to look at what's still hurting within you, what damage has been done to you that still needs work. Okay, that's what I would encourage you to look at. Hey, Amity, how are you? How are things going with you guys and Kat? Let us know how things are going. Okay, Angie, that's what I would encourage you to look at, because the more you're focused outward, the more overwhelmed you're going to feel. The more you're going to feel that it's overwhelming and there's no hope and there's no point. And what is the point of doing all of this work? Life is just too difficult. There's no point in working on anything. Why do I have to? All of that is going to cause you to feel more and more weakened. Okay. Kat is on lockdown. So if Kat's on lockdown, I guess all you guys are on lockdown. Well, I hope you guys are helping her cope with what came out with her father and all of that. You know, I do hope that you guys are helping to soothe her and remind her that she's going to get through this. She's going to heal. We need to come together as a little society within her and really try to help her and try to heal the parts of her that are still causing her pain. Oh, you mean she's not allowed to front? Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, well, maybe you can front for her. Maybe you can tell her some things that she needs to hear. Again, if you're watching this live, please share this. Remember, we need to be proud of the fact that we're working on our mental health. Okay, we need that. That needs to be as proud as, oh man, look at my big muscles, or wow, look at my I just got a facelift, or whatever other physical thing we're proud of. Okay. There's nothing wrong with having a degree of mental illness. We all have a degree of mental illness. The key is working on it. Tonight's topic is about why are you the way you are? Fundamental questions that we're not asking as a society. We are so lost in our little worlds that we don't ask ourselves these questions. Hey, Sarona, how are you? Welcome back. My question is, I am working on my issues with my parents, and I find myself doing well until they do the tiniest thing and I collapse and I deal with PTSD. They have contributed to that. Well, Sarona, I don't know if you're working on that post-traumatic stress, I don't know if you, I guess I'm wondering, why do I sink so deep? Well, you're sinking so deep because that post-traumatic stress, I don't know if it's a disorder because, I haven't assessed you, people with the disorder only comprise 6 to 8% of the population. I know everyone doesn't, people don't realize that. They throw the D part of that around like that's a lot more widespread than it is. But Sarona, you need to work on that trauma. You need to, I don't know if you're talking that out with somebody. I don't know if you're processing that. I don't know how much you hate the way you are, hating the trauma, hating that you sink so deep, sister, is literally compounding the emotional wound. I don't know, Sarona, do you hate when you go deep? Do you hate yourself for feeling deep, for feeling that pain? Do you hate that the trauma is still there? That's going to exacerbate it. Am I saying to love it? Heck no. Of course I'm not saying to love it. But remember, there are 3 options: love, hate, and neutrality. And I know neutrality. Oh, you can't be neutral. People have no clue what they mean when they tell people you can't. Okay, great. Well, what are you working on in therapy? Are you doing any exposure therapy? Are you working with your therapist to expose yourself to some of that post-traumatic stress from your parents? You need to start. That is accurate. What is accurate, Sarona? Tell me what's accurate, okay? But you need to work on exposing yourself with a licensed, trained professional on that trauma, okay? Oh, so that is accurate. Or you're saying you're hating when you go deep, you're hating when you feel things as bad as you do. Okay, well, sister, we got to work on that. You have to accept the fact that, yeah, that's what I thought. You have to accept the fact that you were a traumatized child, an abused child, Sarona Hamed. So I have many Muslim friends, and I know the pattern in families. Sarona. So I'm thinking I think you said you're a female, right? So there's a whole cultural conditioning piece, Sarona, and I don't know, what level religion plays in your family and your trauma, but I'm not running down religion, Okay, yeah, right. So I'm just saying that there's a religious conditioning piece, excuse me, that affects a lot of people that they don't work on. Excuse me. So what I would encourage you to do, Sarona, is we have to start accepting that you're still hurt by your upbringing. We have to start accepting. We have to make it okay. Remember the "it's okay" pill? It's okay that I have these wounds. It's okay that I'm hurt. It's okay that I feel the way I feel because I didn't ask for them. I was a victim of the abuse. And if you continue to hate the victim, my sister, then you're going to keep sinking. You're going to keep sinking lower and lower, because it's like you go to work. Like imagine, Sarona, you go to work at a shelter or a treatment center or I don't know, an agency that works with people exactly like you, who were traumatized as children and abused, and you go in there and you tell them you hate them all. I hate all of you. I hate that you. Why get over it? You guys shouldn't be like. What's the matter? Not gonna work, is it? That's what you're doing to yourself, sister. But if you need to put some heat on your therapist, okay? Again, how do I put this gently without ruffling feathers? Hold your therapist to some accountability. Ask them, hey, what's our treatment plan here? What are we working on? What's the plan here? I'm still struggling. I'm still hurting. What are we doing? Find out what his or her treatment plan is for you. What are their treatment goals? Okay. You've hired this person. Look at them like they are like you've hired them for home improvement. Hey, why is that wall not fixed yet? But the bottom line is, Serena, you need to do some exposure therapy on this trauma. I know it's scary, but you need to go back into and start feeling some of that. Remember my adage, you got to feel it to heal it. You got to feel it, but feeling it is a very nuanced therapeutic thing that a lot of people aren't trained to do. So if you don't feel you're getting what you need from your therapist, next session, go in and say that. I don't feel that we're doing what can we do? Ask them just point blank, what's our treatment plan? What are we working on? I ask my client, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Wonderful and the best, but this is something I do every time I meet with somebody. I ask them, hey, are we working on what you want to work on? Are we focusing? How do you feel we're doing? How do you feel we're progressing? Okay. No, I'm not saying you need to work harder on that. Yeah, but you do. But I don't want you to feel like I'm telling you you're the problem, Serona. You're the victim of childhood abuse. Okay, you need to accept that, and we need to work on Serona's relationship with Serona. Okay, because it sounds like Serona is way too hard on herself, way too hard on little Serona inside. Need to embrace that hurt little girl inside of you. FYI, my trauma has to do with my father's background in the military. It's pretty violent. Oh, there's a loaded one. I don't know if he drinks, but if he drinks, and that's even worse. So I don't know if you mean his military trauma then got bled into violence in the family, or your trauma is watching how traumatized he was. But you got some work to do there, sister. And I don't know if your father's still alive and you can engage with him, but maybe something you guys can have a talk with too. Okay, before I log off, I hope that helps, Serona. But seriously, Serona, self-compassion, okay? Self-compassion, okay, the first one, self-compassion. If Serona was beaten up a lot, either physically, psychologically, I don't know if there's any sexual abuse, you're going to have a very negative relationship with yourself, and that takes time to work through. Okay, it's not just, oh, Serona needs to love herself. Yeah, okay, sure. So easy, right? But so you got to work on Serona's relationship with Serona. Yeah, you need to ask your therapist next time what the plan is here. Well, what's going on? Okay. Well, I hope that helped. Let me just get quickly back here. Somebody posted something. Bracy is asking, what would cause someone to continually think about committing suicide? Okay, I'll end with this one because this is a really good one. I mean, they've all been good, but this is a good one to end on. It does. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, Bracy, I just found your question. So, Bracy, I don't know if this is you. I don't know if it's somebody close to you, but somebody who continues to think of suicide has gotten to a point in their life where they genuinely believe there's no hope for their pain, that their pain will continue forever. It'll never heal, that they're never going to get better. They're never going to get through this. This is going to be something that plagues them the rest of their life. If you think of the topic for tonight, how to discover why you are the way you are, somebody who contemplates suicide a lot needs to spend some time in an environment where they can work through what is causing them to feel suicidal without giving in to those thoughts and emotions. Because like I was talking with Serona, it's going to take a period of exposure. Exposure therapy is the idea that if somebody comes into my office, or now my what is it called? I can't even think. Teleoffice now, which I love, by the way. And they want to get rid of their fear of snakes. Okay, I'm not going to tell them, well, let it go. Don't think about it. Live your best life. Don't even think about a snake. Ain't going to work. You've got to slowly expose them to. Thank you, Sam Baker. Appreciate it, Serena. I don't know who Sam Baker is. But anyway, you're welcome. If you mean Stephen Walker, that's me. But we need to expose ourselves to what is causing us to feel suicidal. What is going on within us that is causing us to believe that those negative thoughts and emotions will never abate, will never heal. One of the main causes of suicide is hopelessness. So what would cause someone to continually think about suicide? It's a dysfunctional belief system. Oh, I'm sorry, Sam Baker. I got you. Sorry, Serona. Sorry, live. Serona was talking to somebody else. So anyway, but suicidal thinking is fueled by unhealed emotional wounds. Unhealed emotional wounds. Okay. This is the main cause of people who want to kill themselves, is they have pain within them. So think about it in terms of a physical wound. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I had this huge blood blister on my hand from my one attempt at home improvement. Yeah. But anyway, if that didn't heal, my whole hand right now would be gangrene. It would the blood flow, and that poison would be feeding out into my bloodstream. Well, guess what, Bracy? That's exactly what unhealed emotional wounds do. Unhealed emotional wounds within us will pump out self-hate, pessimism, hopelessness, negativity, feelings of desperation, loneliness, and I could go on and on and on. And those are the byproducts of those unhealed emotional wounds. And yes, people watching this live or after I upload it, everyone can heal, but it takes work. It takes a process of talking things out. Exactly, Sam. Unhealed emotional wounds fester like unhealed physical wounds. But the problem with people who want to commit suicide is they firmly believe that nothing will ever help. And as I've talked about before, that is what I call a psychic fallacy. A psychic fallacy is believing that you know the future, meaning that you know you're never going to heal. And that is why a lot of people commit suicide. So why does someone continue to think about suicide? Because they feel that's the only hope to alleviate the pain. It's the only hope. But there's other hope, okay? The key is how the person is the person who's wanting to kill themselves, how they relate to themselves and their pain, how they feel about how they feel. Suicide, look, okay, I am not saying that by definition, all forms of suicide are ridiculous, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I actually believe that there are what I call justifiable people who are justified in their decision to kill themselves. But that's not the majority of people. That is not the majority of people. That is a small 0.01% of people who have debilitating chronic illness. That's the main one. Debilitating chronic pain. They live in squalor. They live in a hopeless situation, or they've suffered some huge loss that I'm not saying they should kill themselves. I'm not saying that. I am saying that there are situations that can happen in people's life where those feelings are justified, but that's not most people. Okay, most people who struggle with suicidal ideation, it's unhealed emotional wounds. It's wounds from your past that you're either using alcohol or drugs to heal, or you've been systematically hurt over and over and over and over, and you haven't worked on that. And you're hopeless and feel that it's going to permeate your life for the rest of your life. Okay. Okay, good people. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. Again, remember, this is a mental health live stream. Again, remember my Help a Human fund, helpahuman.org. You can donate directly into this fund. It go 100% of the proceeds go towards helping people who can't afford therapy. Please, if you know somebody that can do something productive with some funds they have, direct them to this. Remember, I'm on every Tuesday and Thursday at these times. And just, this is my website. If anybody wants to contact me through my website, feel free. If anybody wants to be a guest on the show and talk about, their journey of healing or what's going on with them, please. Well, that's a text. It's the same number. But please shoot me a text and we can see about getting you on, okay? Again, everybody, thank you for logging on tonight. I'll see you on Tuesday. We'll talk about another topic and we'll get into things from a psychological mental health perspective. But please, people, seriously, please. Oh, sure, Sam. I'll tell Sebi good night. Everyone says good night. You want to say good night? Okay, he's busy with his schoolwork. Okay, but please, people, seriously, don't give up. Don't buy into this idea that you're broken for life. Don't buy into this idea that you're a lost cause. All of that type of thinking is being fueled by conditioning from your past. It's being fueled by how you were taught to relate to yourself. Everyone can heal, but it takes work. It takes a process of talking things out. It takes a process of reworking your relationship with yourself. It takes a process of mindfulness. Like I said tonight, what was tonight's topic? Discovering why you are the way you are. Asking, why am I like this? Why am I so sad? Why am I so hopeless? Or why am I so happy all the time that people kind of look at me like, are you serious? Why do I need to be a certain way all the time? Why do I need to feel a certain way the same time? Why am I so judgmental? Ask yourself these deeper questions, people, and their answers in there. Their answers in there. Find somebody to talk things out of you, to process it, okay? Don't buy into this idea that you're broken for life. You are not broken for life. Like Sam, who was it? Not Sam, Mike. Mike was saying that he's in his 60s and he's real. Yeah, I got to do some work on myself. It's okay that I need to do some work on myself. Okay, it's okay. All right, people. I'll see you next week, and might bring back some guests. I don't know, kind of like the format like this. The guests are great, but it sort of takes me out of my flow, but we'll see what goes on. We'll see what happens. All right. Have a great weekend and we'll catch you next week. All right. Take it easy. Remember, ask yourself why you are the way you are. It'll be the beginning of the change process. All right. Take care. Thanks for logging on and please share this. Nothing wrong with having a degree of mental illness. We all have a degree of physical illness. There's nothing wrong with having a degree of mental illness, but we got to work on it. All right, guys, Dr. Stephen Walker.